In this video, I want to talk about my cryptocurrency and Bitcoin conversation with a 27-year experienced banker. So last Friday, I'm currently in Chicago. It's a beautiful day, as you can see. I flew to Chicago last Friday from Manchester, United Kingdom. And then it was one of those, the people sat beside you, you start having some small talk. And then if that small talk goes all right, you have a full-blown conversation. And it was interesting to talk to this guy as he was 27 years in the banking industry. He was the vice president of a bank out here in America. And obviously we talked about a bunch of different things, but the topic before we got onto Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was the 2008 financial crash, and I was just kind of asking him, how that hit them. Did it make it more difficult? Obviously, within their industry, if it's a little bit windy and the obviously noise is coming through, so be it. I'm all about documenting wherever you are. Side note. So when talking about the financial crash, he was explaining how things did get more difficult. Obviously, things really dried up after the crash because of people being scared, different regulations coming in, the market kind of coming to a stop, all that sort of stuff, which made it really hard to obviously come out of that and established business as it once was, because of the nature of that kind of crash and the bubble bursting in the housing market. So obviously we're talking about that and how the crash happened in terms of a lot of risk being implemented by banks and hedge funds, even government entities that really weren't overwatching correctly, which led to a massive bubble and ultimately the crash of the housing market, which made it then very difficult for banks and businesses of that nature to conduct business as usual, because the market was in quite a serious recession. So after that, I kind of asked him, what does the banking industry think of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all of that kind of stuff? And he basically said that, a lot of his colleagues, a lot of the banking industry thinks Bitcoin is a joke. They think it's a Ponzi scheme. They don't think it's real money. And I'm not sure if it was this guy's opinion that was saying that, or if it is, more of the general consensus of the banking industry. And I'm sure he knows a lot of people in a good amount of power, because he is quite high up in the bank that he's at. Obviously, I'm not going to mention names or anything like that, but it was really interesting to hear that, especially seeing as we just were talking about one of the biggest fraud and corruption stories of money and central control, which was the 2008 financial crisis, and one of the biggest Ponzi schemes that was going, that filtered, billions and billions of dollars up to the top, in terms of large managers of banks and hedge fund CEOs and board members getting ridiculous commissions. We're talking about Ponzi scheme and what's money and what isn't. I'm 24, and obviously he was probably in his late 40s, and I felt like it was just a total disproportion of thinking when we look at money and we look at the global finance system that we have today, because Bitcoin itself is money, and the way it's different from fiat currency is that a central bank, say the Federal Reserve, prints US dollars in a centralized way, so they have control over that money. The way that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are created are through decentralization and mathematical verification that produces unique code that can't be duplicated and is secured through cryptography. So that's the only real fundamental difference. So when we're looking at money, and obviously we're looking at history, we've used salt, stones, feathers, paper, livestock, so many different things as currency to trade with. And fiat currency has only been around for a very, very short period of human history. So it's not like our money system has ever changed before. But I think with human nature, we're so wrapped up in the way that we do things, especially if you're a banker, especially if you're a hedge fund manager, within the centralized system, and that's all you kind of know. It is quite hard to break from that and maybe open your mind and open your thinking to something else. So that conversation to me was extremely, extremely interesting, especially when, calling Bitcoin and cryptocurrency a Ponzi scheme. When we look at history and we look at different crashes, economic crashes, and we look at, the inflation of fiat currencies, and we look at the interest rates of certain currencies and certain economies, it's pretty staggering. And I think that's obviously why Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has gained so much traction, because of the way it's built, because mankind has never seen a type of currency that is not controlled by anyone, that can't be manipulated, that is verified on a decentralized and distributed ledger, which is the blockchain, which is trusted and secure. And basically the trust factor is absolutely huge, because that's really what gives any currency its value. A community trusting that form of exchange for goods and services. And Bitcoin is doing that. I can buy things with Bitcoin. I can trade it with other people. I can do what I can do with any other type of money. So for a 27-year-old experienced banker to come at that in the way he did, one, I'm not really surprised, because I get it, opening your mind up to something else which is completely out of your industry and out of your norm, but at the same time contradicting yourself, because we literally just talked about one of the biggest Ponzi schemes known to man. So I wanted to share that with you, because I think it's quite powerful to understand that there are a lot of people, I feel, in the world that are even engrossed in the financial system, the global movement of money, that really don't understand this. And even within currency and exchange of value, it's not the first time that things have been shook up, and innovation will always change the way we do things. Things will look very, very different 20 to 30 years from now, and that's absolutely fine. But the big thing is, if you don't embrace change, or you don't open your mind, look at something which could be positive, then I think you're going to get lost in the race, because we're in the digital revolution, and it's about time that something competed with the global finance industry and shook things up, to try and be better, to try and be more efficient, more secure, make it a level playing field, so less centralization happens, less corruption happens, and more and more people all around the world can be part of the global financial system. And I'm about to make a post and make a video. I just did it then. Just found a Bitcoin ATM in Chicago. But no matter where I go, I find Bitcoin. This summer I've traveled to Italy, I've traveled to Israel, I've traveled to England, I've traveled to Wales, and now I'm in the United States. So it's interesting to see wherever I go, Bitcoin's there. And why is that? Because it's borderless. Bitcoin doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care where you are. It's a type of exchange which goes wherever a smartphone or a laptop and an internet connection is, which is super, super powerful. And, traveling around and seeing that physically is something which is amazing, and something which I think is going to change the way we exchange value forever and ever. Maybe it's not the same years and years down the line, but people are going to look back and obviously look back at Bitcoin, look back at the dawn of blockchain technology, and look at the way it really changed things and shook things up for what I think is the greater of the future. So thank you for watching this video. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight, kind of an interesting story on my travels. And I'm really, really loving this journey, and the way that Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain technology has opened my mind, and I've been able to research and read and watch videos on so many different things on global economics, finance, technology, innovation, and all that good stuff, which has really broadened my mind on so many different concepts, and I think will help me massively into the future. So if you found value in this video, subscribe to the channel wherever it's popping up. I've got free resources, can't talk today, at the bottom of this video, so check that out if you're looking for more information on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Shout out to those people for going on a run on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. So I'll speak to you soon, hopefully see you on the next video, and thank you for watching.